Miss Macaroon makes and sells French macaroons and reinvests 100% of the profits in providing training and jobs for unemployed young people. One of my close family members was in care when he was a young child, and I could see it had a massive impact on him. So care is when you are taken away from your parents and the government or council takes care of you. He was only in care for about 6 months, but it had a massive impact on him. And I could see it affected where he wanted to end up in life. He wanted to be a doctor and he never got to do that. And I thought that I'd had a really kind of positive upbringing and lots of support, so wanted to give back and do something that enabled me to have a cool business and be creative, but also provide opportunities for young people. Miss Macaroon's target markets are split in quite a few ways. So our first target market is our trainees. So we get to our trainees through different organisations. The Department for Work and Pensions, they give their job seekers allowance, so they have job coaches and we can get to our trainees through those. Then we also work with other social enterprises, charities, youth homelessness organisations, as well as prisons, probation and police, and we get them to refer onto our programme. So in terms of our customers who buy our macaroons, that's also split down. We have our corporate customers, we have our wedding customers, we have the general public who buy through our website or in our store in Birmingham city centre, and then we also have our wholesale customers, so people that run restaurants, have hotels and coffee shops. And the way that we get to them changes with each different target group. So corporates generally find us through our website, and we have really good social media channels, and search engine optimization means that we're on the first page for most relevant search terms. And then for our wedding customers, it's mainly through our website. We've done wedding fairs before, but we haven't really seen much positive kind of sales on the back of them. And our general kind of public customers, again, it's mostly through social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, through our physical store and our website. So the idea for Miss Macaroon started in my first job, actually. So I was 16, a waitress, and met a young homeless guy, and this kind of was on top of my family member who'd been in care, and I just realised actually I wanted to do something more than just give away staff food or money, and had that in the back of my mind as I went away to university. I did a fine art degree and realised I didn't want to be an artist. That's just going to be my hobby. So rather than trying to find a job, I went away to Taiwan and taught English as a foreign language. I knew that I wanted to work in food and have my own restaurant at some point, but felt like I was too young to set one up and had been in education for too long, so didn't want to go straight to catering college. So I went to Taiwan. I was there for about 1.5 years and ended up opening a vegan and vegetarian restaurant and art space with a Canadian friend, and had an amazing time. It was really good fun, and knew that this is what I wanted to create. It was a community space and really fun, expat hangout, lots of community events, and realised I needed to train properly. So I came back to England in 2007, I think it was 2008, and went to catering college and trained to be a chef, and then spent a year at a Michelin-starred restaurant and got trained up there, and then realised that I could either continue to be the best chef I could be and keep training up, or leave and do what I intended to do, which was set up a social enterprise. So I became a pastry chef at the Hyatt Hotel, and while I was there, I was developing the idea for the business. I was speaking to my sous chef about it, who's my boss, and we were coming up with different ideas for the name, and we came up with the idea for Miss Macaroon. It just kind of rolled off the tongue. And while I was there, I was kind of getting in touch with my old catering college just to talk to them about the business idea and how I wanted to reinvest the profits, and we could potentially work with some of their young people if they drop off the course. And they were really interested, so they provided free kitchen space for over a year. While I was still working as a pastry chef, I would go in on my days off and make macaroons and deliver training. At Miss Macaroon, we collaborate with lots of different social enterprises and other organisations. We work with organisations to get young people onto the programme. We also work with different organisations to provide really high quality support for them. So we work with a recruitment agency who help them to develop their CV and cover letter, help them to figure out how they're going to answer their interview questions, and also give them interview practice. And then we work with a psychotherapist and counsellor to provide 2 wellbeing sessions to help them to learn how to cope, to take care of themselves, to manage self-limiting beliefs, and also to negate negative beliefs. And then we also work with other social enterprises and organisations to provide voluntary work placements and shadow shifts and welcome to work tours for our trainees. We collaborate with other social enterprises in promoting social enterprise as a sector and also promoting different products. So we have a social enterprise hamper where we have our macaroons with champagne made by a social enterprise, chocolates, tea, coffee, fruit juices, and it's really about showing that social enterprises make really high quality products in beautiful packaging, and they can be used for corporate gifts, wedding presents, and just really helping to promote other social enterprises as well. My biggest challenge in the beginning was dealing with my idealistic views. So I thought a social enterprise was an enterprise that only employed the people that you're trying to help, and reinvests 100% of the profits. And anything less than that isn't a social enterprise. But I had to go through the process of trying that and failing to realise actually it's, sometimes it's not the right way to set up a business. So working with 18 to, at that point, 25-year-olds who have multiple and complex needs and generally no support system, and putting them all together and giving them a job when they've maybe never had a job before or been a really long time since they've had a job, people generally learn more from their peers. And we didn't have that support system in place because they need such a huge amount of support. So the model that we moved to was 3 professionals to 1 trainee, and that has completely changed the support that we give and the outcomes that we get from our trainees and the progress that they make as well. So I think the real challenge was kind of the barriers that I was putting in my own way. Another key challenge was, again, another one that I put in my own way. It was asking for help. So we've got some fantastic board members, some amazing supporters. It's only really in the last kind of 2 or so years that I've become more comfortable with asking for help when people love what we do and are really invested in the story and our young people and want to do as much as they can. But I think I was really conscious about putting too much pressure on people when they already have a full-time job. But people don't offer unless they can do it. And if they suddenly realise actually it's more than they can do, then they will let you know that they can't. So I think realising that was really important because it has helped us to grow and access so much more expertise. I started Miss Macaroon with £500 of personal funds. I knew that I don't work very well with financial pressures, so I knew that I needed to keep my job and set up Miss Macaroon on my days off. So I had that £500 and used that and didn't have to pay my wages because I was still employed. And then within about kind of a year and a half, we had enough money in the bank account so that we could draw down a match fund grant from Birmingham City Council and use that to fit out a new kitchen space for us. We didn't really take any more grants apart from testing new pilot programs, and they were small grants. And then the rest of the money came from selling macaroons until, I think it was 2015, where we got a 3-year grant from the Barrow Cadbury Trust, and they part funded the wages for our programme leader. So I realised that we couldn't grow Miss Macaroon if I was delivering all the training. So needed to fund that person's wages and then grow the number of young people that we worked with, and that would leave me to focus on growing the business. We also took down some investment, social investment, in 2016 to set up our store in the Great Western Arcade, and we decided to do that because it was a new business. Retail is much more risky than manufacturing, and we just wanted to have that extra cushion rather than using the profit, the cash balance that we had in our manufacturing kitchen. So we've worked with 53 young people at the moment now. So we've got a couple of people finishing the course at the moment, and then we've got about 4 young people on the cohort to start in a few weeks' time. They've been on our 10-week training programme, and we've helped them to get work afterwards, and also they get 6 months of one-to-one mentoring after the course. I would advise myself to keep in touch with why I'm doing what I'm doing. So there have been points of the growth of Miss Macaroon where I haven't been involved in the training, and it's really affected my motivation and my passion. So now I've had a real chunk of delivering training up our new programme leader, and she's great, so I won't need to actually deliver any training. But I will pop in to each and every cohort once or twice per cohort, because for me it's really important to get that motivation, but also know who our trainees are, so that when issues come up, which they invariably do, then I have an idea of their personality and how far they've come and what barriers they feel they have to help support them. Yeah, so Miss Macaroon is a specialist producer of premium gluten-free French macaroons. We're the only patisserie in the world that can Pantone match macaroons, and we supply a Michelin-starred restaurant in Yorkshire called the Pipe and Glass Inn, and large corporates such as Google, Instagram and Facebook. We reinvest 100% of the profits in providing training and jobs for unemployed young people. We work with ex-offenders, care leavers, young people at risk of homelessness, lone parents, young people with mental health issues, people on the autistic spectrum, and some people with learning difficulties. We build their skills, build their confidence, and help them to get into work. We're changing the world one macaroon at a time.